What up, what up, what up, what up? We back. Freewenow.
Till it's backwards.
Yes, Sirski. And look, we got a good one for you. Listen, it's December. New Year's rolling around. I know everybody's got the New Year's resolution. We just had a pod about New Year's resolutions. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one.
As always.
You know what I'm saying? And I also have a special guest in here today.
Ooh.
They won't be on camera, but got Mon Dukes in the background.
So
make some noise for Mon Dukes. Woo. Got the K's in the building. The K's in the building. Okay, we love the K's. Okay, what you got for the people?
Hey, man, as always, follow me on Instagram at Chief_Gilmore and follow me on Twitter at Call Me Sweat. And let me give y'all a little quote.
I was about
today.
to say, you got to have a quote. You got to have a quote. You got to open it with a quote.
All right, so you're kept for the problems you solve and you're let go for the problems you create. Make yourself indispensable by learning how to be excellent at serving not only your own problems, but other people's as well.
Ooh. Can you do that one more time?
Hey,
let me hear it one more time. Listen, we in the school zone. We want to drive slow, baby.
Slow.
We got to drive slow through that one. Let them know one more time.
You are kept for the problems that you solved and let go for the problems you create. Make yourself indispensable by becoming an expert at not only serving yourself, but solving other people's problems as well.
Whew. And that's the podcast, y'all. We'll be back.
I'll
just play. But no, that's deep. That's deep. So think on that. Rewind that. Play it in slow-mo. Whatever you need to do. All right. So we're going to talk about today. What are the biggest downfalls of a man? Right? So we're talking about males. We're focusing on the men today.
We're focusing on the men
So the biggest downfalls of a man. Also, we're going to talk about it's not about what you make, but what you keep.
Ooh.
It's not about what you make, but what you keep. And we ain't just talking about money. All right. Okay. And then also we're going to talk about putting God first, right? So a lot of times, you know, we have these laundry lists of New Year's resolutions, things you want to do. You hear something, you're like, ooh, I need to do that. Ooh, I need to add that. We're going to keep it simple today. Just put God first.
First, number one.
Okay. Not second. Not, oh man, I thought about it. Oh, or I need him now. Let's put God first.
Yep.
Okay. And then the last time we're going to talk about is regrets. You know what I'm saying? Or like the tattoo says, regrets.
Regret. Not even one letter. Not even one letter.
No regrets. Okay. We're going to talk about regrets. Right. And how to get over them. Okay, cool. So the biggest downfalls of man, bro. And ladies, let's listen up. Okay. Don't use this as ammo. You know, all right. Don't be trying to use this and what we say and then taking it back like when.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to give y'all an inside scoop. And also, fellas, if you listening, let's learn from these and let's not let these be our downfall.
Most definitely.
Cool. So the biggest downfalls of man, what are those?
So I'm going to start off with one of the biggest ones for a man. It's temptation. Temptation rears its head every single thing that you do in life, right? Whether it's about making money, whether it's dealing with women, whether it's dealing with family, like that temptation can take control of you, right? Okay. And let's go ahead and start off with women, which can be one of our biggest things, right? Because a lot of times men, we think with the wrong head. Right, and then we don't process things clearly, right?
Facts.
And I was talking to Hassan today, like you could put in so much work, right, to obtain a woman that you feel is the woman of your dreams, right? She does everything that you've ever required of her, ever asked with her. She's made you better in every single way, right? And all it takes is one woman with a nice little slim waist and a nice boot for you to be distracted, right?
Right.
For you to mess up everything that you put in work for, right? Now that's just sometimes base level, but even going on to the money aspect, right? As a man, your whole nature is to protect and provide, right? And when you can't provide, temptation sends you to fast money, right? Let me go out here and sell drugs. Let me go out there and scam. Let me go out there and take the shortcut so that I can be able to provide for the people that are in my life, right? But that's temptation talking, right? Maybe I'm
gonna pause right there, right? So a lot of times, I think you hit a great point, right? Identity, protect and provide.
Yeah.
And I think now through podcasts, right, which is a good thing, right? Other people have a podcast. I think as men and women, we know the role of a male is to protect and provide.
Most definitely.
At the same time, though, don't use that as an excuse to go fall in temptation.
Exactly.
Well, my, you know, the role of a man is to protect and provide. I gotta feed my family. I gotta feed my people. I gotta go get his money. I gotta go get his bread.
Yeah.
Don't let that be an excuse to fall to temptation of getting quick money.
Yeah. And y'all don't even realize that temptation could take more away from you than it could give to you, right? You may get that fast money. You may get that cute little woman, right? But you lose the basis of your life. You lose the things that support you. You lose the ability to spend time with your family, to spend time with the people that really matter because you wanted to give into that temptation, right? And that is a big downfall of a man, giving into those weak natures, those weak senses, you know what I'm saying, just for that one moment, right? Just for that one moment. You ever did something, whether it's like, just say you made a New Year's resolution to eat right? You're like, I'm gonna eat right. And you're like, you know what? I'm not gonna eat right today. I'm gonna go have McDonald's. And then you just feel awful after eating at McDonald's, right? And then the rest of the time, you're just thinking about it like, what if I would have just drove home? What if I would have just bypassed this? Why did I let this one moment ruin what I had going for me? Why did I allow that to take me off the trend, right? So temptation is really a big thing that can be the downfall of a man.
Absolutely, man. And also temptation, man, it never leaves you satisfied.
It doesn't.
You know what I'm saying? Like temptation is one of those things where it's like, I want more, and you also feel bad afterwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you don't get a good feeling. It's like, oh, I need it. A lot of times I realize, man, things that are of God, they don't have like a get it now type sensation.
You feel complete when you get it too.
You feel complete, right? Like God is peaceful. You know what I'm saying? So like when you're thinking about, is this a temptation or is this of God? How do you feel on the inside? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Is there a peace within you, or is there a sense of urgency and I got to get it right now? And if I don't get it right now, I'm going to miss out.
We talked about that, you know missing out.
Is there a miss out feeling, or is there a peaceful feeling, right? We talk about temptation, right? One of the biggest temptations is your appetite, right? So in the Bible, right, the first fall of man, speaking of, fall of man, right, was due to appetite.
Yeah.
Right? And on the surface, it looks like the appetite of food, of hunger, which is also one of Satan's secret weapons. But I think to take it a step further, and we talked about this offline, but people say your appetite, right? Your taste buds change every 7 years. Or really, I just think your mindset changes. I think as you mature, so does your appetite mature. So like as a kid, bro, you don't want to go and eat vegetables and fruit. Yeah. Right? You just want to eat candy. Exactly. Because you can't see, you're not mature enough to see the benefits and know that, hey, I'm gonna have cavities and lose all my teeth.
Exactly.
But as you mature, so does your appetite matures, right? So I think a lot of times we try to say, these just random occurrences every 7 years. But if you think about it, bro, 7 to 14, 7, you're in like second grade. And then 14, bro, you're probably a freshman in high school going to sophomore year, right? So that's a huge difference.
Yeah, big difference.
And then imagine sophomore year to now you're 21, about to graduate college or do whatever. That's a huge difference. And then from 21 to 28, that's a huge difference. You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily your taste buds, right? It's your mindset for your appetite. So to stay on that, the parallel is to stay on that note of temptation, you have to change your appetite, right? You have to change your mindset to realize that, hey, what I'm doing, my identity surrounded around protecting and providing is so important. And like you said, you work so hard for it. It's so hard to get to provide and be able to protect your family. I can't have the same appetite for things that I used to have. Right, because I'm mature now.
Exactly.
I know that there's nothing good that comes from that. You know what I mean? And so also, bro, on another note, adding to that, right, of the temptation, a lot of times that comes with, pride, right? We listen to the J. Cole song on the way here, pride is the devil. You know what I'm saying? So like, speak on, as men especially, a lot of times with that protect piece, we can also fall into being prideful. You know what I'm saying? And how that can be detrimental, and almost a lot of people end up in jail or in a grave due to their pride, especially from men.
So just the right amount of pride is good, right? You should have pride in your work. You should have pride in your family. You should have pride in the things you do. You should have pride in what you've been able to develop and create, right? But too much can destroy you, right? Because it takes those different moments where you let your pride get the best of you, and then it starts to control your emotions, right? Now you're in an angry fit where you let something so small turn into something that changed your life and took you from the upstream to being in jail, or took you from the upstream to losing people in your life. Like, you have to understand that pride can literally destroy you, right? It shouldn't be something that controls your life. Like I said, use it as a motivator, right? Take pride in the things you do. You should have pride in your work, right? That makes you work harder. That makes you put more into it. That makes you continue to be creative, that makes you think on different levels when you have pride in what you do, right? But when you let pride lead you, it gives you the tools to destroy yourself, right? Because we all have the tools inside us to destroy ourselves, right? We've been gifted with everything that we would ever have from the day we were born, right? It is not something that is just a random occurrence. It's inside of you, right? But you have to understand that certain things don't need to see the light of day, right? So your pride should not dictate how you make a step. Your pride should not dictate how you do things in life, right? And a lot of times it just takes that momentary thought to evaluate the situation, right? Self-analysis is something that you should do. If you can't do it hourly, daily, it's something like, what did I do good today? What did I do bad? How does this situation affect me? Because a lot of times if we take that one moment to think about what we're doing in the fits of pride, how it affects our life, not just our lives, but the people around us, a lot of times we wouldn't do a lot of the things that we do, right? So don't let that pride control you. Let it motivate you. Let it complement who you are.
No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. On that pride piece, right? And that temptation, right? And this is going to be for fellas and women, take heed, right? Fellas, if you're in a situation where your girl consistently puts your pride on the line, that's not healthy for you
At all.
Like if every time you go outside, y'all go out to a bar, to a lounge, go to a restaurant, and she is consistently popping off to make you put your pride on the line, that's not healthy. Women, don't put your men in situations where they have to put their pride on the line. Okay, you know that men, we're built to have, like Keith said, pride in who we are. Right, we want our family name to be at the top of the totem pole. Right, we want our last name to mean something. Right, so knowing that, you have to also be conscious of not letting your emotions or your first instinct to continue put your male friends' pride on the line. Right, because you got to know our identity is to protect and provide. So you have to understand that the way you assess a situation is not the same way we assess a situation, right? Because we're thinking of safety first, right? You're thinking of, oh, I got to get my lick back. You know what I'm saying? Or, oh, I felt wronged in this situation. Do something. You know what I'm saying? The best remedy for a problem isn't always to be violent. You know what I mean? So knowing that, fellas, don't consistently be with a person, whether that be your sister, whether that be your mama, your grandma, whether it be a female you're dealing with, your wife, just whoever it is. You have to address those situations and be like, look, I want to protect you. But right now, you're consistently putting me in a situation where I'm going to either end up in jail, in prison, or I'm going to be dead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you know who I am as a man, especially a real man. They're not going to, there's only so much they're going to tolerate.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So you have to know that. And women don't consistently do that because I know firsthand, I'm sure a lot of you know firsthand of situations where men have lost their lives on both sides due to a female. Wars have been started because of females, right? And it all comes back down to that pride. So like, let's not go into 2024 having the same issues and problems that we're dealing with. Okay. And what do they say? Red flags?
Red flags.
Hey, that's a red flag. Fellas, that's a red flag. If you feel like every time your manhood is being challenged, every time you with a female, when y'all go out somewhere, you need to stop dealing with her. Yeah. That's not healthy for you.
That's a big thing. I think another thing that I want to add on to this that can be a big downfall of men is his friendships, who he keeps around him, right? So a lot of times they say that you revert to the mean. So if your mean is a low level thing, you're going to revert to that, right? If you surround yourself by people that don't have any passion, that don't have any motivation, that aren't trying to better their lives, even if they're not obtaining it at the certain point, but they're working towards that every single day, like then what is going to motivate you to keep going, right? Because a lot of times you can't do you can't do everything by yourself, right? Sometimes you need that person in your corner, right? That is on the same path as you, working towards some of the same goals as you to motivate you, to bring you up, right? But if you don't have that to fall back on because you surround yourself by people that you've known forever but aren't doing anything purposely good for you, then you put yourself in that mean average of just low energy, right? So you have to surround yourself by people that are like-minded. You have to surround yourself by people that are better at things than you are, right? You want to put people around you that you look up to because you're like, you know what? If they're doing great, I can do great, right? And I know they're going to motivate me to do great, right? So surround yourself with great people.
Absolutely. Look, even Jesus needed 12 disciples.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So you can say what you want. We're tribal by nature. Okay, like you need to understand that, and don't go and try to be lonely, or I don't need nobody, or I'm gonna figure it out on my own. And this, no. If it was working, then you would be in a better place than you are right now. Exactly. Okay, so you need to get around. You need to find your disciples. Who are the group that's gonna push you to the next level? You know what I'm saying? Like what are those? Who are those individuals that when you get around them, you're like, man, I feel charged up. I feel energized. I feel inspired. You know what I mean? Like I can converse with them and we are all on the same page, right? It's interesting, right? We mentioned J. Cole earlier, right? A lot of times you can tell a lot. You can go to a concert, right? We'll keep it in that terms. You can go to a concert and end up being best friends with someone at the concert.
Exactly.
Why? Because the lyrics that the person is saying resonates with both of y'all. Probably because both of y'all had the same mindset, right? I say that to say the events that you go to, the Eventbrites, right? The groups that you join should all be of the same mindset. You know what I'm saying? In 2024, I said 2022. 2024, right? Find who are the disciples that you're around, right? Because when you do that, if you notice, you go further. There was an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So on that note, man, we talk about the biggest downfalls and some ways to help them. You know what I mean? Let's talk about, okay, it not just being about what you make, right? But what you keep.
What you keep.
And a lot of times when you say that, right, the first thing people's like, they think of money and think of monetary things. So we could talk about money a little bit, but let's talk about, especially in 2024, the New Year's approaching. Everybody's like, I want to make 100,000, 200,000, million, or I want to do that. Let's talk about the importance of is not what you make, but what you keep.
So I think a lot of people focus so much on what they make because they don't have an objective after getting what they make, right? People set goals, but they don't understand that's the beginning of the process once you attain that goal, right? Like we said, let's start with money just to get it out the way real quick and possible, right? You can make $100,000 a year, but if every time you get your check, you're spending on unimportant things, at the end of the day, when you have that job, now you have $10, $15 in your bank account.
What's your appetite like?
You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of famous athletes that make millions of dollars on end, but when they get out, they're broke. I can't remember the statistic, but it is a big amount of them.
Too much.
You know what I'm saying? They try to live a lifestyle outside their means, or they don't prepare to go further than that goal that they just obtained, right? Let me take it to another level, right? Any man or woman, well, not always, but a big majority of them have the ability to lay down and have a kid, right? So you have the ability to make a child, right? But are you going to keep a relationship with that child? Are you going to make that child's life better? Are you bringing something in this world that you can impart to that can bring even more into this world, right? It is not just enough to make something. It means so much more to be able to keep it, right? When you're making your artwork, when you make this artwork, do you allow somebody to take ownership of that artwork? Do you allow somebody to make it their vision? So though you made it, is no longer what you wanted to do about it. It's no longer what you've seen. It is somebody's whole vision that you can't even recognize what you drew on the paper because somebody has took so much control of that. You have to understand that making something is just a start. Obtaining a goal is just a start. Keeping it, investing, finding out how to be better, finding out other different ways that you can impart to this to make it something that you believe so much in that it is real, even if it isn't, right? You have to understand, what do I need to do to not only keep this, but keep making it better?
Absolutely, man. I think the nitty gritty of it, right? Especially with like, I just think about, I don't know why I keep hearing this, but like, I don't know where I got it from, but like, I just heard somebody say, yeah, she can get a man, but can she keep a man?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like that's real talk though. You can get a man, anybody can get a man, or you can get a girl. You know what I'm saying? Well, I got women, you know what I'm saying? But can you keep one though?
Can you keep it?
You know what I'm saying? Friends, right? Like friendships. Anybody can get a friend, but can you keep one? The difference is it takes work. You know what I'm saying? Those relationships take work. People take work. So if you are a person, right, or know of people that always get something, but they can't keep it, whether that be money, whether that be relationships, whether that be children, making a bunch of kids and not keeping up with them, right? Whatever that is, that's a sign of that person not being willing to put in the work, right? So going into 2024, we talk about disciples, we're not getting around those people. You know what I mean? You can't get around those people that don't want to put in the work. Like, we living in a society that is, everything is instant. Microwave, I need it right now. I was listening to YouTube or whatever here. It wouldn't load quick enough. I'm like, why is it not loading? I needed to load. What load? What's the service? Like, we live in a society where we want it right now. Everything right now, right? But that's not realistic, right? We want something that is sustainable. You know what I'm saying? And that takes work. Keeping something takes work. Right? You have to put aside some of your selfish interests to take in whatever the other party wants to keep something. Right? It's not about take. Right? To keep something, you have to sacrifice. Right? And so on that note, man, anything in 2024 that, you know, that they should really take heed to as far as like keeping. Right? So I'll put it to you like this. Right? People are making New Year's resolutions. I may have a New Year's resolution. I want to lose weight. Right? I may lose the weight, but do I keep the weight off of me? You know what I'm saying? I may join this group, but am I sustaining this relationship with this group to where now it's March or it's April and now everything has disintegrated?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What are some of those highlights or big things that you think people should not only get, okay, cool, I got the goal, but can you keep it?
So one of the big things that I like to say that is you want to keep in your life, and it's not something that's actually physical, it's keep consistent, right? We set these goals, and then the next year we have the same goals. And then the next year we have the same goals, right? You have to understand that, as I said in a previous podcast, persistence and consistency is not perfection. It's understanding that you're going to fail some certain times, right? But you have to keep analyzing where you can be better, right? You have to keep analyzing how to be consistent. Like, all right, I know if I put myself in this situation, it takes me off the wrong road, right? So I'm not going to put myself in that. That could be, hey, I know if I drive past this restaurant, I immediately want to eat it because I smell it. I want to be around it. So that means, hey, let me drive the other way around, right? Because sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta do what you
boy,
gotta
I got to
do.
stay away from Chipotle, boy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Chipotle. But
sure.
yeah, bro, keep consistent in what you want to do, right? So, like I said, keep analyzing. That's one of the biggest things I could take away from that.
Yeah, no, for sure, bro. I think, we hit it on the head, bro. It takes work, being consistent, and at some point, you gotta become sick and tired of having the same goal.
Yeah.
Every year, you got the same New Year's resolution. Some point, you gotta look in the mirror and be like, you know what? When it's December of 2024, I will not have the same New Year's resolution that I had coming into this year.
Yep.
Because I've completed it and I've kept it. Like, sometimes you got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Be a sick and tired.
You got to become sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm sick. Well, at some point, you got to become sick and tired of even having to say, I'm sick and tired. Right? Like, I'm making it my mission, bro, to where, number one, I'm going to put God first. And then number two, I'm not going to have to keep going over the same thing that I went over last year. Because obviously I wasn't willing to put in the work. Because I got it and then I can keep it.
Did not keep it.
So on that note of putting God first, right? A lot of times we have a laundry list of, hey, I'm going to lose weight. Hey, I'm going to run these miles. Hey, I'm going to read the Bible every day. Hey, I'm going to drink more water. Hey, I'm going to eat fruit. I'm going to eat veggies. I told myself, bro, a simple fix for all of that is to put God first in everything you do. And that's going to be my New Year's resolution for 2024 is putting God first. But what does putting God first look like? Like, a lot of times we say these things and it sounds good and y'all going to comment and like and woo, but like, what does that really look like?
It's understanding that you don't got all the answers, Sway. You don't got all the answers.
You ain't got the answers, Sway.
Right.
Sway.
I think a lot of times the reason people don't put God first is they're too busy trying to be God. They're too busy trying to do his job for him, right?
Let him cook.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta let God cook.
Let God cook, right? Like you said, everybody wants that microwave time. I want it right now. But a lot of times you can't handle things right now, and God knows that. You have to go through these trials and tribulations in your life to be able to understand how you can affect that, right? And if you don't start putting God first, what you were put on this earth for, you may not ever accomplish, right? So you may not impart the wisdom and the knowledge, and you may not change the people's lives that you were supposed to change, right? We were put on this earth to serve, right? We were put on this earth to impart our gifts onto other people so that their lives can be better, right? And that makes you feel, right? When you are creating, you feel complete, right?
Facts.
If you sit here and you don't create nothing this whole entire year, tell me how you felt that year. I promise you're going to feel in the slumps, right? So putting God first, right? And understanding that when he tells you to something to do and you do it, is good, right? Let's go ahead and start with Genesis 1, right? It's literally right in the beginning of the Bible.
Facts.
God says something, it is done, and then it is good, right? So what God tells you to do is always going to be good. You have to trust and believe that he would never steer you somewhere that you're not supposed to be, right? And I'm understanding that we're human beings and we make mistakes. We're going to trip up where we can't be perfect because we're not built to be perfect, right? So understanding that you're going to have those slip ups, but understanding that putting that time into God is going to put you on a different level that other people could never understand, right? There is not one person that I've ever come in contact, I've ever heard about, that I've ever seen that has God first in their life and is not prospering. They don't have everything that they ever wished for. They don't have everyone that they ever needed. They don't have literally the symbolism of the life that they've ever dreamed of. Those people are so complete. It is almost infuriating to be like, dang, why am I not there yet? Right? Why am I not there yet? Right. So understanding, putting God first makes your life better than it could ever be if you decided not to.
That's deep. That's deep. And Keith always gonna give y'all the, you know what I'm saying, the cheery rainbows and butterflies. I'm gonna give you the other side. We're gonna play good cop, bad cop.
Good cop, bad cop.
If you have God first in your bio, stop lying on God. For real. Because no, seriously. But he can't be first. I see the first thing you post in the morning. How's that putting God first? Even myself, right? I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is check my phone. That ain't God first. The first thing I do when I go and I pray, I'm asking for something. That ain't putting God first. When you open your mouth in the morning, how you act, how you move, and what you say should reflect God being first. So for me, on a practical sense, cool, you waking up every morning, cool. But remember, Satan is subtle. So he can get you so busy and you think you're doing all these things and you putting all your effort into it, right? We talk about not letting God do his part. Your efforts and your will is not going to work. So Satan is subtle. He got you thinking, okay, cool, yeah, wake up, Hassan, early in the morning, go work out. And then go read this secular book about, Think and Grow Rich. And then go to work and then go listen to this YouTube video of them talking about grinding and hustling and doing this on the third. And then go to this conference or whatever. And then, go drink that smoothie because you trying to lose weight. Don't do that, blah, blah, blah. Right, by the time you get home, you ain't talk to God all day.
At all.
And then you sleepy and you get in the bed, you ain't talk to God all day. You ain't pray, you ain't did nothing. That's not putting God first. So in a practical sense, right, I made it my mission. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I'm going to give God thanks. I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to say, thank you, God, for giving me another day and me having breath in my lungs. You didn't have to wake me up. This is an opportunity, and I'm going to take advantage of it. Every day when I wake up, the first thing I'm going to do, even if I don't even get up off the couch or the bed or whatever, I'm just going to say, thank you, God.
Thank you.
I'm going to just say, thank you, God. I appreciate you. That's the first thing I'm going to do. And I ain't going to make it deep. I ain't going to say I'm going to read 5 scriptures a day. I ain't finna lie to y'all. I ain't finna say I ain't even finna lie. But I can say this. I will. That's the first thing I'm going to do. And watch how we take off.
Hey, man, it's going to be different.
Watch how we take off. You feel me? Because that's what we're going to do. And we're going to put God first. And that's going to be a practical sense. When you take a step, God take 10.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you move, he move. Just like that. You know what I'm saying? So putting God first.
Hey, I'm going to add on to that, yo. So a lot of people like to think that if I didn't start off in the right spot, then I can never get back to it, right? Let me give you a little message from me, right? So we're talking about putting God first, right? God has not always been first in my life, right? There was a point in time I wasn't even talking to God. Like, I would consider it, I would think about it, and I'd be like, nah, I'm too tired. I'm gonna go to sleep, right?
Yeah.
So
we talked about this too.
God bless my Dukes, right? My mom is the most God-fearing woman I've ever met in my life, right?
Yeah.
So much that when she would pray for me, at a point in time, I would be annoyed. Like, she would start praying, and in the whole time she's praying, I'm listening. I'm like, when is she gonna stop? When is she gonna be done, right? And my mom would even call it out. She was like, why are you always so like infatuated with how long I pray? Why are you thinking like stop praying? Like it was bothering me. It had bothered me so much, right? And she was doing nothing wrong, right? Everything that she was speaking about was giving praise to God and trying to better my life, right? And I'm sitting there like, why is this taking 5 minutes? When I go to church, like, dang, why am I at church so long? Why am I doing this so long? Like, come on, I'm not trying to deal with this, right? But I'm gonna tell you right now, when that paperwork was due or that project was due and I ain't studied for it, I didn't do it. God, hey, come through,
Heavenly
right?
Father, please.
Right? So like, I had put God last. Like I was really putting him last. Like it wasn't a priority in my life, right?
Yeah.
And I like to tell, like, because I think it's a very important, bro. We came into the studio right here, right? This is where it really clicked for me, right? We did a recording, and like I literally got in the car and I broke down crying, bro.
Yeah.
I broke down crying about where I was at in life and how much God had did for me when I didn't even give him the time of the day. Like, I'm like, why am I still getting blessed, bro? And I'm not even talking to God. Like, I'm not even giving him the praise, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm so annoyed at my mom praying, right? So don't think just because you haven't put God first in your life at one point that he can't become first in your life, right? So understanding you can come back from that point and you can move forward, right? Put him first, and I promise you, he's going to put you in something that you deserve.
Facts. Look how God was blessing your life and you wasn't putting him first.
Not even.
So imagine, and myself included, when we become intentional about putting him first. You can't lose.
Can't lose.
You can't. How could you lose?
You can't lose.
He created everything, and we're going to put you first, and we still in last. Stop.
The I am that I am.
Come on, that don't even make sense. That don't even make sense. We putting you first every morning. We waking up and thank you every morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? And we still, you can't lose like that. And like he said, you don't have to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? You take a step, God going to take 10. He going to put his super with your natural. You know what I'm saying? And it don't, like I said, I'm not even finna say I'm finna read verses and verses. I ain't there yet. You know what I'm saying? But what I can do is every day I'm gonna wake up, we're gonna wake up and we're gonna put God first. So I challenge y'all as well, right? When you're watching this and you like, man, I can do that. I can do that. You can do that. Just the first thing you do is thank God. Before you do anything else, before you start complaining about your day or calling on the phone or doing whatever, you turning on some music that's going to have you bending corners and running red lights, right? Let's just at least thank God. That's you can do that. We can do that.
Yeah, you can.
That'll take 3-5 seconds. Okay, you can do that. Watch how your life take off. Regrets. Regrets, man. No regrets.
No regrets.
So me and my mom's on the way down here, right? We were listening to Big Sean, Still I Rise. And in that, he was saying that basically you shouldn't have regrets in your life. And if you do still have them, it's because one of two things. Either you haven't learned the lesson or you haven't forgiven yourself. So assess your situation. Do you have any regrets? If so, why? Normally, they'll fall into two categories. You haven't seen the lesson in that, whatever that situation was that's causing you to have regrets, or you haven't forgiven yourself. That's one of the hardest things to do, is to forgive yourself. That takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it does.
Sometimes it's easier to forgive somebody else.
Way easier.
Than it is yourself.
Way easier.
Like, sometimes I've had to forgive myself and be like, come on, bro, you just human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you make mistakes. Don't keep making the same mistake in vain. But at the same time, you make mistakes. And that's also another beauty of reading the Bible. Quick plug for the Bible study podcast. Everybody start, right? Quick plug for that. But in the Bible, you see that these were real people.
Real people.
That made real mistakes. And when I say real mistakes, I'm talking about murder. I'm talking about adultery.
Adultery.
Okay, I'm talking about sleeping with their own kids getting them drunk. And sleeping with, like, we talking about real, like, crazy stuff.
And these were some of the best people in the Bible.
And these is God favorites. This was his people.
Yeah.
Okay? Moses murdered a man before he delivered people from the Red Sea. Then even when they got over and they were waiting to go to the land of milk and honey, he killed somebody else. Go look it up. Okay? I ain't lying. I ain't write the Bible. It's just in there. All right? So, these God's favorite. Right? David, Solomon, okay, we'll get there. But I said to say regrets, man. What's your thought on regrets and how do you get over those?
So honestly, I still haven't even discovered how to get over my regrets. My regrets. Sometimes I have regrets that I still have regrets. You know what I'm saying? Like it is stacked on top of each other, right? I'm regretting that I regretted that.
Like, why am I regretting that I got regrets? I shouldn't have regrets.
Honestly, like one of the biggest things that you said that struck home for me is that I haven't learned to forgive myself in certain senses, right? And it's something that I'm working on, right? I'm building towards every day. But a lot of times, like you said, it's so easy to forgive other people, right? Because you don't have to deal with the internal thought process system all the time, right? You don't have to see them every single day, right? A lot of times you look yourself in the mirror, bro, and all you can see see is things that you wish you would have did different.
You see it every day.
You see it every day, right? And sometimes it pops up in seeing other people live in that light that you wanted to do, right? It pops up in talking about these certain things, or when people from the back be like, bro, I remember you used to be so good at doing this, bro. I remember this used to be so great. And you're like, why didn't I pursue this? Like, why didn't I be better, right? And a lot of times, like, it's kind of an obsession to like fixate your mind on that, right? Like, let me keep thinking of this. Like, let me make this fantasy world up in my head of where I actually did it. Like, how would it look? How would it be? But you're still not pursuing like forgiving yourself, right? So learning how to forgive yourself is probably one of the most important things. Like, it opens up learning about yourself, right? Because the most important thing, you should know yourself, right? You have to learn about yourself. Like, and you're not going to love everything that you learn. Everything about yourself isn't beautiful. It isn't. You know what I'm saying? But you have to learn to understand and work with those shortfalls, or understand and move forward and not look at it as a burden. Like you said, look at it as a lesson. Like, what can I learn about myself from this situation, right? Like, how do I not continue to make this mistake over and over and over, right? So understanding that regrets shouldn't have a place in your life, right? Because all of these things, though, wherever you are, built up and it made you who you are, right? I feel like if we were able to see ourselves where everything that we did in life where we had a regret had came to fruition, we might not even recognize what we see, and we might not even like it. You know what I'm saying? You might see where all the regrets that you have in mind were changed completely, and you might not even like what you see in the mirror, right? It might be a completely different person. You may not have the same friends. You may not have the same life experiences. So understanding a lot of times those certain things, like you said, were put in your life to learn a lesson and build who is the most important you.
Absolutely, bro. I think to put a nail on a coffin, bro, is that, like you said, learning about yourself is huge, right? It's hard for you to become confident in yourself, right, and live authentically in your gifts if you don't even know who you are, right? So that's numero uno. And then once you do that, understand that you have to face it. A lot of times that's something that we don't want to do, especially, I think social media and technology has put us in this atmosphere of not having to face conflict, so to speak, right? Everything is, I'm gonna just type on this page that they never see. I can go under a fake name. I can have a fake picture, a fake profile pic. I can be a fake person. Like, I can take a picture, like you said one other time, behind a jet and be like, look at this new plane I bought, right? And it's not even my plane, right? I just got a fine for even getting on the airport $1,000 because I took a picture in somebody else's plane. Pretending, but you don't even know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So learning yourself, knowing yourself, and facing conflict, right? The truth hurts before it helps, right? When you go to the gym, it hurts first before you start losing weight. When you eat right, it doesn't feel good at first.
Withdrawals from all the stuff
you may be a little bit hungry those first couple times when you're not overeating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you may have the itch to like go and get drunk, right? When you're cutting back on alcohol, right? So all of these things, right? With regrets, know the lessons, face your fears, face the conflict, right? And you'll be better off on it as a whole. Anything you want to lead the people with, man?
Hey, man, honestly, we hit everything that I could have thinked on this podcast.
Yeah.
It's been a great one.
No, for sure.
Been a great one, for sure.
So to sum it up, right? So we talked about the biggest downfalls of man. That's your identity, that's temptation, and that's pride. Okay? Just because you know your identity, don't let temptation be an excuse for your identity, or pride be an excuse for your identity. It's not about what you make, but what you keep.
What you keep.
And we're not just talking about money. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about kids. We're talking about goals. We're talking about dreams and aspirations. We're talking about all of that. It's not about what you make, but what you keep. Put God first is a simple New Year's resolution that I encourage all y'all to do. We're going to do it. Just wake up in the morning. The first thing you do is put God first, right? And then regrets, right? 2 things with regrets. See the lesson in it. And forgive yourself, man.
Yeah.
Forgive yourself. God forgives. So God forgives. He loves you. Love yourself, baby. Let's go. Times. Say that quote again that you said at the beginning. Unless you got another one.
Nah. I don't think I have another one. I'm playing that one out. You know what I'm saying? I had to come right.
No, for sure.
All right. So you are kept for the problems that you solve and let go for the problems that you create. Make yourself excellent at solving your own problems and other people's as well.
We love that, man. It's the Freewenow
till it's backwards.
Yes, sir.